They mocked her when they thought no one was watching. "She's just the cleaner. Ignore the mess she is," one of my board members whispered, too loudly, to the new HR head as they passed her crouched near the elevators. Her back hunched, hands red from scrubbing the baseboards, but her smile? Still soft, still kind. Then the child screamed. High-pitched, guttural, panicked, like the world was collapsing in his little chest. He was maybe 5, curled in a corner near reception, fists clenched, rocking, wailing. No one moved. Not security, not the front desk. People stepped around him like he was a wet floor sign. Except her. No hesitation. She knelt beside him, her janitor's cart rolling quietly behind her, and without a word, she reached into the front pocket of her apron and pulled out a small plastic wand. She dipped it, blew gently. Bubbles floated up between them, catching the light like glass orbs. The boy gasped. The screaming stopped. He reached, laughed, popped them. A few floated onto my shoulder. I was watching from the mezzanine, behind glass, silent. That was the moment it all snapped into place. Her name was Rosa. She'd been with us 8 years, arrived when my father was CEO. Back then, we were told to ignore the cleaning staff. "Don't coddle them," he used to say. "Respect makes them lazy." I believed him for years, until I didn't. Because Rosa was the one who stayed late, long after we were gone, picking up the coffee cups we left on meeting tables. She brought birthday cards to the security guards. Once, I saw her leave a lunchbox near a shivering intern who'd forgotten to eat. And no one saw her. But I did, that day. So I made a plan. I didn't praise her publicly, not yet. That would tip my hand. Instead, I started asking quiet questions. Payroll told me Rosa hadn't gotten a raise in 5 years. HR had flagged her as overly familiar. I checked the security footage. Yes, there it was. 3 weeks ago, she'd helped a courier who dropped his entire load. She was reprimanded for disrupting workflow. That same week, my VP of Ops gave himself a $15,000 performance bonus for improving internal efficiency. Disgusting. I could have yelled. I could have fired half the board. But I didn't shout. I strategized. First, I rewrote the company values, quietly. We'd been due for a rebrand anyway. The new motto? People first, always. Everyone loved it, thought it was marketing fluff. They applauded in the quarterly meeting, sipping champagne. Next, I pulled financial records, quietly audited departments, found which leaders had stalled wage increases, who had blocked HR promotions, who had signed off on disciplinary actions like Rosa's. I built my list. And then, 4 days after Rosa blew those bubbles, I called a company-wide meeting. Mandatory. All floors, cameras on, no excuses. They thought it was for earnings or new tech. It wasn't. I stood at the podium, heart steady, voice calm. And then I said, "Today, we talk about who we really are." I played the footage. No editing, just the raw moment. Rosa kneeling. The boy's scream fading into giggles. The wand. The bubbles. The calm. Silence swept the room. And then I spoke. She's not a cleaner. She's not a disruption. She's a reminder. I listed her hours, her years, her missed raises, her reprimands. Then I turned to the list I'd made. I named names. The board member who mocked her? Gone. The VP of Ops? Fired on the spot. The HR manager who flagged her for being too kind? Reassigned, demoted. All of it streamed live to over 600 employees. Some gasped, some clapped. But me? I looked over at Rosa, who had been invited to sit front row, still in her uniform, hands folded, eyes wide. I gave her the floor. She didn't want to speak, but I insisted. So she walked up, quiet steps, and with a shaky voice, she said, "I didn't do it to be seen. I did it because if it were my child, I'd hope someone would care." That was it. 12 words that shattered the room. Afterward, I gave her more than a raise. I made her the new head of our employee wellness initiative. With a team, with authority. She cried when I told her. I didn't, because I knew this was overdue. They underestimated the power of one kind act, one bubble. But I didn't. Not anymore. Now, our office has changed. There's a mural of Rosa and the boy in the lobby, the bubble mid-air. Staff now have kindness hours. A portion of bonuses are tied to peer-voted impact, not just numbers. And the ones who once mocked her, they weren't just removed, they were forgotten. That's the quietest revenge. To lift someone so high that the ones who tried to keep her invisible are no longer worth remembering. And every time I walk past that mural, I think, that's how you change a company. That's how you win without a single shout. Just one wand, one act, and one woman no one saw until everyone did.